From September 12 to 16, 2023, the economic delegation led by Mr. Jan Jamben, Minister, Prime Minister, and Minister of Foreign Affairs, Culture, Information Technology, and Facilities Management of the Flanders region, the Kingdom of Belgium had an official visit to Vietnam. The delegation had a meeting with Vietnamese leaders, representatives of businesses, attended seminars on sustainable urban areas, smart logistics, climate change adaptation, as well as visited Deep Sea, Belgium's largest investment project in Vietnam in the past 25 years. The delegation welcomed the participation of 50 businessmen representing nearly 30 businesses and organizations in key economic sectors of the Flanders region such as logistics, construction and infrastructure, engineering, urban planning and agri-food. During this visit, businesses also have meetings with partners in Vietnam to learn about the market and expand bilateral trade. This is the first visit to Vietnam by the Flanders high-level delegation since the free trade agreement between Vietnam and the European Union (EVFTA) took effect in August 2020. Greetings from Station Vietnam. In mid-September 2023, the Minister-President of the Government of Flanders led a delegation of 30 businesses and had a visit to Vietnam. On this occasion, we are very happy to welcome him to join our program today and talk more about this visit and also about the potential for the cooperation between the two sides. So thank you for joining us. It has been 50 years since Vietnam and the Kingdom of Belgium established diplomatic relations. So on this occasion, what is your feeling? How do you feel about the diplomatic relations between the two countries so far?
Yeah, as you stated right, we celebrate this year 50-year diplomatic relationship between Vietnam and Belgium. But in Belgium there was an evolution and international trade is now in the hands of the regions, and Flanders is one of those regions. And my predecessor came 5 years ago with a comparable mission in 2018 to Vietnam, and they signed a MOU, a Memory of Understanding, giving a framework of collaboration between Flanders and Vietnam. Then Flanders became a partner in the Mekong River Committee in 2020, and in 2022 I had the honor to invite the Prime Minister and several ministers from the Vietnamese government to Brussels, where we had a very interesting lunch conversation. And in fact the result of that was this trade mission, where we come with about 30 companies, Flemish companies, to Vietnam to see how we even can deepen our relationship.
This is the second visit by the delegation of businesses from Flanders to Vietnam. So I'm just wondering, why do you choose Vietnam in the ASEAN context?
Well, we choose Vietnam because I saw the growth figures in Vietnam the last 20 years, and it's really impressive. Impressive how the economy in Vietnam growth steadily every year with 6-7%. We in Europe can only dream from these figures. And if there is growth, there is also a need for trade, for international trade, import and export. And then I saw also the tremendous fall down from the poverty figures in 30 years, from more than 50% to less than 5% people living in poverty. So this is of course remarkable, and a lot of people see, and I say, when an economy is growing like that, we have to see how we can collaborate. And there were already some companies active here in Vietnam, mainly on sustainable infrastructure, renewable energy, also smart logistics. And so it is clear that there is more to do in these areas. We have also altogether the same challenges in sustainability, in the the global development goals. And so we have built some expertise already in Flanders in this area, but I think, and we can deliver this expertise to Vietnam, but I think that we can also learn from the Vietnamese economy. And so this is the basis of a good partnership, is when you can give something and you can learn something. And I think with all the contacts that I already had with the Vietnamese government, I see a lot of opportunities.
This is your first time coming here to Vietnam, so I'm wondering, what did you think about the socio-economic development of Vietnam, and what is your initial feeling when you coming here?
Yeah, as I already mentioned, we saw that there was a high growing economy. Poverty was falling down at high speed, so that gave some expectations. But when I now come to Vietnam, and I only was in Hanoi today, because we are just at the beginning of our visit, then I see first of all, a very beautiful city with a lot of historical buildings and very nice parks, very nice water parties in the city. But I see also a lot of companies that are state of the art and that are looking for partnerships with Western companies. And so to bring these two together is, I think, the challenge from this mission.
Within the framework of the visit of the Flanders economic delegation, two memorandums of understanding between Belgian and Vietnamese businesses were signed in the presence of Deputy Minister of Transport Nguyễn Xuân Sang and Minister, Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs, Culture, Information Technology and Facilities Management of the Flanders region, Jan Jamben. That is the MOU between Nexport Company and the Vietnam Maritime Administration, and the letter of intent between the Belgian-Vietnamese Alliance and the Vietnam Chamber of Commerce and Industry, VCCI.
Yeah, Nexport is very honored to be signing an MOU today with Vina Marine here in Hanoi. We've been asked to support Vina Marine to digitize their seaport system, and therefore data sharing is very important, and to do that securely and in a neutral way. And Nexport has been developing a platform like this in Antwerp 7 years ago, and has been asked to see if we can support the Vietnamese government to implement such technology in Vietnam as well. And that is very important for the ports in Vietnam to remain competitive, to remain compliant, and also get ready for the new energies that are coming to Vietnam. So
tôi cũng có cái dự định là phát triển các cái nền tảng số, giúp các cái doanh nghiệp vận tải biển, các công ty vận tải biển, cảng biển, các chủ tàu và các cái đơn vị liên quan có một cái nền tảng thông minh để chia sẻ dữ liệu. Và chúng tôi cũng là đối tác hợp tác lâu dài với một số doanh nghiệp của Bỉ, ví dụ như là công ty Nexport là một đơn vị cũng rất là mạnh về chuyển đổi số, và trong cái thời gian tới thì chúng tôi sẽ cùng nhau xây dựng một cái nền tảng số chia sẻ với các cái doanh nghiệp của Việt Nam trong lĩnh vực hàng hải và hậu cần thông minh.
The Kingdom of Belgium and Vietnam have a long-term and close bilateral friendship and cooperation, especially in the fields of trade and sustainable development and cooperation. In 2022, the total trade turnover of the two countries has reached more than 6.4 billion euros, of which goods from Flanders accounted for 93.23% of Belgium's export to Vietnam, with a value of up to 2.27 million euros, an increase of 201.21% compared to the previous year. Imports from Vietnam also increased by 47%, estimated at 3.84 million euros, and accounting for 97% of Vietnam's total exports to Belgium. This shows that Vietnam is an important and increasingly attractive market for Flemish businesses in particular, as well as Belgian businesses in general. What would you say about the potential for the cooperation between the two sides? And would you say that the renewable energy would be kind of a promising area?
But the expectation is to do business. That's to do mutual business. The areas where we're in is areas like sustainable infrastructure. We see that the energy challenge is as big in Vietnam as it also in Flanders. I think we started a little earlier with renewable energy, and I see that here also the government took the decision to make this turnaround of the energy for Vietnam. So there we can certainly offer some competences. We have also something to offer, I think, in the area of smart logistics. Our port of Antwerp-Bruges is the second largest port in Europe, with a high degree of digitization of the handling of the goods, and this is also a need, I think, in Vietnam. So these are the kind of areas where we can offer solutions.
As far as we know, Flanders can be seen as a gateway to the EU for the inward investors. So could you please share more with us about this?
Yeah, we are a small country at the sea, at the ocean, and we have big ports. The port of Antwerp-Bruges is the second largest port in Europe, with a big chemistry cluster, petrochemical cluster in the port, the second largest of the world, just after Houston. This is really the hub to bring, like for instance, renewable energy, to bring developments in the petrochemical to continental Europe. So we have a whole developed logistics system behind, with pipelines, with canals, with train railroads, and so to bring the goods from the port into the hinterland, not only in Flanders but all continental Europe. Yeah, because when you talk about the Belgium import and export, I have to say the biggest part of that is Flemish. I think in our trade with between Flanders and Vietnam, we take 92% of the Belgian trade. So Flanders is the economical motor of Belgium, and how we try to promote, just by missions like this, like coming with a lot of companies to Vietnam, but also by inviting Vietnamese companies to come to Flanders, because I think there are also opportunities for Vietnamese companies. And then when you bring all these CEOs, these technicians, engineers together around the same table, they can exchange ideas, and they can be creative and build new ideas. And so that is, I think, the purpose and also the advantage of a mission like this.
At the moment, Belgium ranks at number 6 in terms of the trading partner with Vietnam within Europe. So how do you expect to promote the trade and also the investment between the two sides in the coming time?
I think when people come together, they talk, when they have common interests, they get new ideas, and they develop ideas. For Flanders, international trade is of the utmost importance. We are a very small nation. We have only 6.5 million people living in Flanders, and although we are on the 16th level and the 16th number in the ranking of most exporting countries, so export is really in our DNA. And to give you an example, 1 on 3 jobs in Flanders depends on international trade. So for us, bringing people together, bringing companies together around the table, listen to each other, develop ideas, and then bring this into reality. That is how you can develop business.
It's been very great to hear that, and we hope that in the future there will be more and more exciting business activities between the two sides in order to promote the trade and investment between Vietnam and Belgium. And that's all we have for this episode of Station Vietnam this week. So thank you for watching, and goodbye for now.